Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to be here with you all today. Apologies to my Patreons. I'm a little late getting out my video, but it's coming. You know, something don't seem right. I've been having a lot of technical difficulties with some things, and my videos are getting out later in the day, and I think there's something fishy going on. Something definitely is amiss. And I just wouldn't put it past certain people who try to do things to you. You understand? Because that seems to be the case with a lot that's happening. Even with, we have Meghan and we have this lawsuit with her sister Samantha. And it always looks like there's these wins for Meghan. There's these wins for Meghan and trying to create havoc and like stirring the pot and trying to shake things up. And it can appear that way. But let's just rest assured, even with my issues that I'm having with my technical difficulties, and people do things because they're scared. They're scared because they feel like you better not come get me. You better not. I'm gonna start doing all kind of things to just make sure I'm protected. And I think to an extent that is what Meghan has done. She has put out things because she sees that people are coming after her. She's very frightened and she's making mistakes. Okay, so let's get into it. So here is what we have today. I'm talking about this Samantha's case and how it looks like Meghan had a win with this case. We know that it was dismissed with prejudice, but I think this new approach, because they're not giving up. An article that was done by Dan Wooten, and Dan has got a new platform out. If you haven't followed him, start following him. He does have free options and paid options, but just let's support Dan, because we know that he even had people out there attacking him, Harry, in his way of trying to bring down people that speak about his own personal life. These are real journalists that he's trying to take down, and they have a code of ethics that they have to abide by. And so just because you don't like what the journalists are saying doesn't give you a right to just try to sue them for things that have been wrong to you. Even though you may think it is said journalists, it could be other people. It really is, for me, disheartening to see people who are supposed to be professional, like Harry and his work that he has done with the royal family and how professional that office was, or when he was with them. Why do you think you've got to be on this vendetta to go after these journalists? It just shows you how, yet again, scared and afraid he is. This is, I think, a reaction to their emotions, right? That's what I believe it to be. But this article that Dan has written is a really good one. And I just wanted to highlight some things in this article, because we look at justice and we think, well, did she get justice, Meghan, or did she not get justice? Okay, so let's just kind of look at that. So Samantha Markle is going to ask Princess Catherine to submit a deposition with a legal fight against Meghan, her sister, moving to the 11th Circuit Court as her lawyer confirms late Queen branded Meghan evil. And if the Queen is calling you evil, something is amiss. Something is just amiss. If you have the sweet late Queen and all that she did with her ability to just get on with the work, and she's seen a lot. She's seen a lot. But if she is labeling you, and they have it in quotes here, evil, then something must be wrong with you. Something is wrong if the late Queen has called you evil. I mean, that's the only way I can see it, because the Queen and all that she did was just about doing the work. And if she's doing her work and she's got to stop to maybe label you evil, then we know there is a side eye coming. There's something wrong with you, because that's what has happened, folks. And I think this new direction in getting the people that were with Meghan, that saw Meghan, that maybe even said things about Meghan's sister, Samantha, you know, I think there could be a lot there, because you have Meghan giving information about her family to the royals. Hence the lie that we heard during the Netflix documentary about them not wanting to invite the family of Meghan. But then the reason that Meghan gave why her family could not come or why they weren't coming, like all of that plays into that. You know, you have to look at what information Meghan conveyed to the royals when the royals inquired about, well, where's your papa? Where's your sister, your half-sister and your half-brother and, you know, your family, Meghan? Why are they not here? And yet you're inviting all of these celebrities that you don't know. That information, I think, could be very relevant to a court case. So I think, you know, calling Catherine to be deposed is a good move. So Meghan Markle's sister Samantha and her attorney, Peter Tickton, which happens to be Donald Trump's best friend, also reveals that this defamation battle against Meghan Markle is far from over. Far from over. So, you know, Meghan does not have what she thinks is her justice. She just got a little bit of a timeout. That's what I'm going to call it. It's like, okay, time out. We got to reevaluate. We're not moving forward now. This is not over. He goes on to say, Mr. Tickton, that I felt that Princess Catherine might have some very important light to shed on what had occurred. Obviously, something is really, really wrong between these two, Catherine and Meghan. Yes, there is something very, very wrong. And I can almost imagine the lies, the way Meghan defamed her sister to the royal family. That would be relevant information, because I think it was the information that Meghan conveyed to the royal family. That really where a lot of the defamation that we have not even heard has occurred. Right? That's what I think. Mr. Tickton also confirms the long-held rumor that the late Queen had referred to Meghan in such a manner, a pejorative manner, simply among friends about morals shortly before her death. And we remember this happened, right? So she said, or he had heard that the late Queen did say that Meghan Markle is evil. And for someone like Queen Elizabeth, that's not a slight little remark. That's a big, heavy remark. I don't think Her Majesty called people evil at all until she would actually look evil in the eye. And that's what we are facing here. So essentially, the late Queen, looked evil in the eye when she saw Meghan and said, oh yeah, you evil. Girl, you evil. She was thinking it in her head and it came out. People heard it. And for her part, Samantha believes it's possible that Catherine can assist by saying that there were many people who were anxious to testify and still are. And there's so much evidence to present. There's a lot to present that would validate this case. But as we know, it was thrown out with prejudice. It was just dismissed. They said dismiss the case, and the judge dismissed the case. And this is why I think she did. So Tickton's decision to move to fight to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals will get around the issue of Judge Charlene Honeywell, who was an Obama appointee. And the lawyer asked to recuse herself from the case, and Sam believes she had a strong bias against her politically. We're still in the fight. Don't count us out. There's too much to give up on. The best part of this is that there was a motion to dismiss. It wasn't a trial. The 11th Circuit has a number of judges that were appointed also by Donald Trump. So it's not a little fight between two sisters. Once the Sussex squad turns on you, it's devastating. You get death threats that are credible. You get people stalking you in real life. It's a new world. And Samantha knows this firsthand because that's exactly what has happened to her. So without allowing this to go to trial, to see evidence, to really put together a good case, you have to let this go to trial. And because this was dismissed without even going to trial, really kind of tries to hold Samantha down before she can even come out and say a word. She hasn't been able to come out and voice all the horrible things that have happened to her. And I think when you have someone speak emotionally about their life and how it's been turned upside down and everything that comes out in a trial, your perspective about the case becomes completely different. And to dismiss it before even or without allowing it to go to a trial really holds back Samantha's voice. And anyone that can look at Meghan and think she is a woman who wants to empower women to have their voice, she always says this, then why doesn't she allow this to go to trial? Why is she trying to dismiss it, to hold Samantha's voice down, to not allow Samantha to voice her problems that she is having with her sister? And you know why? It's because Meghan is not an advocate for women to have their voices be heard, because you have a clear case of a woman trying to have her voice heard, and Meghan is doing everything she can to suppress the voice of her own sister. So how can she be an advocate for women to have their voices heard? She's not. It's a farce. It's a joke. It is a lie. That's a lie. If I ain't ever seen a lie, that's a lie. She is not trying to help empower women. If anything, she wants to suppress women. Look at how she treated the women in her own office when she was within the royal family and how they were bullied. And we still need to get that evidence out. We still need to hear that. I'm going to be looking into the dark tactics used by the Sussex squad, which I think is a good move because they have done things very nefariously. They have done things that are not good, that have been very detrimental to the well-being of Samantha, who is in a wheelchair, suffering from MS, suffering every day with trying to get her basic needs met. And when you have people that are coming after you physically, criminally, digitally, how are you able to live a quality of life? This has all happened because of what Meghan Markle has done to her own sister. So how can she be an advocate? Look at the big picture of her trying to be the voice of women empowerment. That should be an outrage to women who are really out there advocating for women. You should want to suppress someone like Meghan because she is a farce. She is not someone who is speaking with authenticity to truly help women. She is using her voice and her power from her marriage to do everything she can to suppress the voices of vulnerable women, including her sister. There's a big picture here that we need to keep our eyes focused on. But Samantha's anger remains targeted at her sister for the lies told during the Oprah Winfrey interview and Netflix special that has put her life at risk. Because this is, my friends, a life and death case. It really is about Meghan Markle trying to seriously bring harm and death, in my opinion, to her own sister. Otherwise, why would you do this? Why would you do this? Why would you not be the bigger person? If you are really an advocate for women, be the big person. Reach out to your sister. Apologize that you felt like she was defamed during the Oprah interview. Apologize for the lies. Come out and make right if you really, really, truly are an advocate for women. But we know it's a lie, so it will never happen. I was made out in the Netflix documentary to be a leader of a hate group. A hate group, by definition, incites a lot of violence globally. Now, because of what is going on and what is being fueled by the racial left, to put me in the crosshairs of that, I think is morally reprehensible. It's disgusting because it is not true and it endangers me. Absolutely. So this alone gives reason why Samantha's voice needs to be heard, because she needs to be able to speak her voice just as loudly as Meghan was able to speak her voice on Oprah with 50 million people watching that documentary, with the Netflix documentary. Because you look at the platform that Meghan has and how large it is and how she can just freely go out and have her voice be heard and use her power to suppress the voice of her own sister, because this case was thrown out. It was dismissed without even being allowed to be heard. Once again, Samantha's voice she was told to go, shut up. We don't want to hear you. This is the only avenue for justice that Samantha Markle really has. For true justice is to be able to allow her voice and her circumstances to be heard by a judge. Now, we all know in the court of public opinion, Meghan is losing big time. People have come out and apologized to Samantha. They have really told her that they really thought that she was not speaking the truth. But now, through the actions of Meghan, they see, oh yeah, Samantha, you were telling the truth. We just didn't want to listen. That's right. And Samantha is the one who needs to be emboldened and empowered by the justice system to allow her voice to be heard, because she does not have the same access that Meghan Markle has. And I think this connection to Obama can contribute to that, because we know that Meghan is also cordial with the Clintons. She's cordial with people who are in a good relationship with the Obamas. And people talk. Relationships are very powerful, and they can have an influence on things in the courtroom. You cannot tell me that Samantha is getting justice when the judge says, we don't want to hear you. It is particularly hypocritical, given Meghan's recent South by Southwest appearance, decrying internet trolling without a hint of irony. Yes, and we've heard her say it. We've heard her talk about the trolls and even cry in Netflix about people saying things that are hurtful to her. But what about your sister? You know, they're trying to kill me. These are real. You know, are the doors locked? Are this and this? You know, this is real. This is real. Well, in real time, Miss Meghan Markle, you are putting a lot of harmful things out there to hurt your own sister. But yet you want to cry about how you feel about the trolls hurting you, while at the same time supporting people that are bringing harm to your sister. Girl, you better go kick some rocks. You ain't telling the truth. Something is wrong with you. You have got some serious issues. People need to put you in your place, because there's something definitely rotten going on. Definitely. And you can't be looked at as somebody that we should pay attention to, while behind the scenes and the curtains of the wizard, you out there controlling things while crying in front of the cameras, crying. But you right behind the curtains of the Wizard of Oz. You know, we saw in the movie in the Wizard of Oz where, you know, he was saying all these things, and then come to find out he's the one controlling and doing all the things that he's talking about. That is Meghan Markle. That is what she is doing. And I hope they find this connection with the Sussex squad. They need to find it. That's the only way. Because you cannot tell me that people are emboldened to continue doing what they're doing and you're just not saying nothing. No, Meghan Markle has clearly collaborated, in my opinion, with the people that are trolling her sister. She's collaborated with a lot of people to do a lot of harm. But yet she sits out in front on the stage and talk about how internet is a nasty, dark place that I think we should do something about it. No, do something about it in your own home, because we know she's doing it, folks. At least I think she is, in my opinion, allegedly. When she's out there talking about online bullying and bullying between women, well, we've got a woman who's got millions of dollars, who is, in my opinion, and of many others, a purveyor of bullying and of misinformation, says Samantha Markle. And I have to agree with her. Meghan Markle needs to stop being a hypocrite and stop trying to be the voice to have women's voices heard. Because if she were truly an advocate for women, would she not allow her sister to have her voice heard? But because she's doing everything she can to stop it, means she's afraid. She's afraid for the truth to come out about her and her hypocrisy.